Good morning, everybody. I had a massive meditation this morning, so that is what we're going to be talking about. I've had a lot of information come in based on the power of our choice and our decisions, the way we see the world, the way we respond to difficult things, and I really wanted to share some examples and um, a view that's coming in for me, and this might not be true for everyone who's listening to this, but it's true for me, and it feels important to put it out there as a perspective because I'm not sure that we all see this side. Um, and I think it's important to be able to see different viewpoints, different perspectives from other people, um, and see what feels good inside. So I have a lot of intention in this group to stay judgment free, criticism free, a very open, safe space for people to communicate what's coming up inside them. So if we're not willing to look at and talk about what's coming up inside of you that might be scary or dark or uncomfortable, then we're never going to give the space to process that in order to see the other side, in order to take it away from claiming it as who we are and letting it go and recognizing that we're still that person without that thing or that thought or action inside of us. So, what's been coming up? I had set the intention of having this space judgment free, which I am super proud of and super excited to maintain and hold in the best way possible that I know how. Um, and I came across a post. Let me see if I can pull it up. And I had copied it and put it into my personal Facebook um, because I felt like it super applied to the way I've been seeing myself and the way I've been attempting to see everyone else. Um, so it says, I'm currently in the process of rebranding my entire life. What you see right now is nothing compared to the life I'm getting ready to manifest, which I thought was beautiful. And in my post, I added, or compared to what was in the past. We are constantly growing and improving in this life, and I'm living this every chance I get. I'm taking lessons that are being provided to me and doing serious soul searching each step of the way. I will assume the same for you. I will not expect you to be the same person you were when I last saw you, when I last talked to you, when I last hung out with you. I will greet you as if you were a new, improved human being every chance I get. We all deserve the freedom to change who we are, what we think, and what we do. Be unapologetically you, whoever you choose to be in each moment, and I'll send you all the loving energy I can along the way. So that's what came up for me in that post. Um, and usually, when we set an intention, when we set a viewpoint of this is how I want to move through the world, this is how I want others to feel the freedom to be if they are called to. Usually, when you do that, you are met with the opposite. It's such a trial. This universe has such a beautiful way of saying, okay, this is the intention you set. Can you hold this standard? Can you hold this vibration, this intention that you want? Can you be that person even in the hardest moments for yourself? and around the people that you're already around. So, as the testing began, I noticed that I was making choices that lowered my vibration in my own life, in my own situation, that was not holding the standard. I was not seeing other people for who they are in this moment. I was seeing them for who they were when I last talked to them, who they were in a different part of my past life, which is um, also part of processing. You go through this past experience and you're processing it. Um, you kind of live in that moment for a minute as if it is your current reality. When we tell stories, they come from a place of experience. So they come from this place of the past. And I think it's very important when you're processing to be able to say all of that, get it all out, release it, process it as you need to. But don't attach to it as if it's the truth in your current life because it's not. So I've been having a ton of release coming out, and it's things that I don't resonate with right now. It's not who I am right now. It's not who I want to be right now. But it's been coming out in just this like massive releases of this is what I experienced and this is what I went through and this is how I saw the people around me and I don't like it. Like I don't like the feeling that is associated with it. I don't like the thoughts that are associated with it. I don't like claiming that those people are still those people because in reality, I have no idea who those people are because I'm not with them right now. How can I say someone is one type of person or does one type of thing if I am not currently recognizing that in them in that moment? You can't, you can only say it from like a past experience place of this is what I experienced and this is how I felt, not this is who that person was, you know? So that was massively coming up for me. And then on top of that, we watched The Social Dilemma um, and had a lot more understanding of how addictive social media can be, how it can feel like a false connection, um, how we can be in a completely different world online than when we are out in, our real life outside of being on screens, and and I understand so much of where the video is coming from. Like in the end, um, his point of view, and if you haven't seen this, I might be spoiling it for you, so pause and mute me. But in the end, he's talking about how we need to make a great change as a society, um, which I feel like I agree with. What I don't, what's holding me back just a little bit and wanting me to put a different perspective out there is not that it's not okay to think that it's totally okay to think that we need to make a great change in society. 'Cause that's a beautiful thing. It's totally okay to think that we need to hold people responsible for what they create. It's totally okay to think that we are being manipulated by other people. It's totally okay to think that we are not in control of our actions. But I would love to challenge you to challenge each of those things. Each of them. All of them. 100%. Challenge everything. Um, Because what was coming up for me as I was sitting with those questions and challenge them myself is, do I have the inner power to choose to turn off my notifications? Yes. Do I have the inner power to choose to not engage in social media? Yes. Do I have the inner power to not keep scrolling? Absolutely. Do I have the inner power to not jump to assume that this next video is perfect for me, that has been chosen for me, is perfect for me? Because I'm constantly changing, these AIs are choosing based on your habits from your past. But are the habits from your past the current person that you are? Does it measure you changing in the moment? Like if you wake up one morning and you're like, okay, I've been watching porn my whole life that I can remember, and I'm gonna not watch it today. Does the AI understand that you've made that choice if you haven't been online to create new habits? Absolutely not. It's going off of your past. If we're constantly holding each other to our past, are we allowing the room for change? Maybe, maybe not. Are we responsible for it ourselves? Maybe, maybe not. I feel maybe. I feel like yes. If I woke up today and said, I'm going to change this habit that I no longer feel aligned with anymore, it doesn't matter how many videos you throw at me, it's my inner power that keeps me from going back to the habit that doesn't feel aligned. We always jump to it's so hard to break a habit. It's so hard to change an opinion. It's so hard to make a new routine. Is it really that hard? Or are we in a space where we believe it's hard, even if it's really not that hard? Some of the other things that I've been challenging is holding Facebook responsible. This is something I feel like that comes out of, a scary place, a fearful place, an angry place, a bitter place, a place where we are blaming our own personal actions on something outside of us instead of sitting in with what's inside. So it's easier so far in society. It has looked easier to blame outside of us instead of blame ourselves. But we're the ones who are clicking, So is Facebook, is holding Facebook responsible going to make the change? Or is holding ourselves responsible going to make the change within us? We don't need to focus on changing society because that's a huge daunting task. In my opinion, we don't need to change everyone else's habits, everyone else's lives, everyone else's opinions. We don't need to. All we need to do is change ours for the best version of ourselves. And if each of us are changing our own habits based on what's best for us and taking responsibility for our actions and taking responsibility for our choices, um, there is no AI that can keep up with us. There is no corporation that can use our time as money. In the end, if we are having the inner power to do what we feel called to, do what we feel best to, regardless of outer experiences, we have the ability to change the game where Facebook is paying us to pay attention. You know, you want me to watch this video that I don't feel aligned with. How much is it worth to you? How much is it worth to me? Okay. I would say an hour worth of my time doing something in alignment to me feels like $100 an hour, you know? Feels like if I'm gonna give somebody my full attention, all my energy, all my love, all my support, all my love, I would love to see the return of like $100 for that time period. You know, is that always going to be the case when we set something like that? Is that how it's going to be? No, we go with the flow of what happens. But that's the space that I'm holding myself in, what I feel like my value is. Um, so if Facebook wants an hour of my time, I'm going to move through Facebook like, okay, I'm going to spend an hour worth of my time. It needs to be as beneficial as getting paid $100 an hour. I want it to feel as good, as supportive, as abundant, as incredible as receiving $100 to sit here. And what that does is really change what videos I'm looking at, which posts I'm engaging with, um, who I allow in my newsfeed. If you are not the same feeling as $100 an hour in the moment, I'm not going to engage because that's the inner power, the inner authority that I'm moving through right now, um, and the change I'm making within me on social media. And the same goes for what I'm putting out on social media. From now on, if what I'm putting out does not feel as beautiful or powerful or important as $100 an hour, I don't want to engage in creating it anymore. From now on, I am only posting things that feel like $100, that feel like I'm receiving so much abundance already from sharing that moment. Um, and that's the kind of energy that I want to be putting into everything. And I'm totally going to release judgment over my own releasing that I have been having lately that may look like the opposite of what I'm saying because it's leaving my body. Because it knows that it's no longer serving me. It knows that it doesn't hold any value, any abundance in my life. So I'm letting it go. And I'm just going to take these moments to shift the way I perceive the world around me. So I think the moral that I'm coming to from what's coming up from all my lessons for me, and you can choose to agree, disagree, have your own, challenge everything, is that, you know, I have the inner power and the inner strength to believe what I want to believe, to support what I want to support, to be who I want to be. And although it may look like chaos and like I need to do something and I need to fix things and I need to support certain things, I'm going to support this. I'm going to support this the most and see what kind of ripple effect that has on its own first. So I hope that those of you who are watching got to see a little bit of my inner growth, my inner change, um, and know that that's capable for you in any aspect that's fitting for you. You know, like if this topic is not fitting for you, if you are in a different space, all I am doing here is hoping that you can recognize the space that you are in. How are you utilizing your energy? How are you utilizing your time? Are you listening to this? Are you listening to this? You know, without judgment, without criticism, are you listening to your body, to your soul, to your heart, to your mind, to what's coming out of you? Your voice, your contribution to this world? Are you listening? Are you learning? Are you understanding a little bit more? Are you having moments of clarity, moments of confusion, moments of release? You know, are you really connecting in with you today? What's coming up for you today? So comment below if you feel called, share if you feel called. I'm just going to keep going. And I hope that each of you have the inner power to keep going too. Bye.